Folks, we're back. This is Steve Sampson, Michael McDonald, Veterans in Politics. Today we have in Jessica Church. She's going to be discussing the constant civil violation in the Clark County Family Court. But before we get to Ms. Church, Mike, you have any rants?
Good morning. I'm glad. Thank you for coming out today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's.
Very grateful.
I know what some of the topics that you're about to talk about is very hidden. We actually have a big underground, a dark underground of Las Vegas that happens out here, and with regard to sex trafficking, we have a lot of prostitution and sex trafficking that occurs, and we work with a couple of nonprofits that help bring light to that and to help victims of abuse. And I know whatever you're about to talk about is a very emotional and heart-ripping topic to do. So I appreciate you come out, because a lot of people don't. They never speak about it, and sometimes it needs to be brought to light.
Thank you.
That's your rant.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just want to let folks know this program was brought to you by Ron Quince and Stephanie Phillips, who's running for U.S. Senate. Ms. Church, tell us about yourself.
Firstly, my daughter's name is Madison Mae Johnson. I'm here because of Madison, and she's being sexually abused. I want to say that Craig Wiseman, the owner of Spacecraft Components, is a pedophile, and he's been sexually abusing my daughter. And I'm asking, I'm begging, I'm pleading for any other people who have been victimized or who know victims to please come forward. The universe, the world is depending on you. Thank you.
Your bio about yourself.
My name is Jessica Church. I'm a mother, and I'm fighting for my daughter.
Okay. So you said that there's a constant civil violation going on in the Clark County Family Court. Could you explain?
Yes, sir. So I have been fighting for my daughter for now. I've had her taken from me physically for over 1 year. Last November, I was awarded 50-50 custody. I still don't have my child.
Hold on, if you're awarded 50-50, how come you don't have your child?
I don't know. Nothing makes sense. It's nonsensical. It doesn't make sense.
What does the court order actually say?
The court order says 50-50 custody, 1 week on, 1 week off.
And you don't have your child?
I don't have my child.
Did you motion the court to enforce the order?
Yes.
Enforce the order for contempt against dad?
Yes, sir.
And what happened?
Nothing.
Who's your judge?
Judge Shell Mercer.
And she didn't enforce her own court order?
She did not. She has on the 24th, she has a hearing in her personal quarters to discuss the matters on her own. However, I feel like they've been dangling a carrot in front of me, and I've been waiting and waiting and waiting, and I'm tired of waiting.
Explain your case so people could understand. Let's go back to the beginning.
Okay.
Tell us about it.
So I have been in a physically abusive relationship with my daughter's father, Brooks Johnson, who is also a pedophile, who was also sexually molesting my daughter. And upon us leaving Michigan to come out here to Las Vegas, I was held hostage at the Siegel Suites.
Explain, how were you held hostage?
I was physically held hostage. During this time,
Were you cuffed? Were
No.
you strained?
Nope.
Were your phones taken? Were
So,
you locked in a closet?
I had no electronic devices. I had no communication with the outside world. The evidence that I have proving this is 911 audio. I was able to escape one day and go to the front desk and try to call for help. My mother, Virginia Church, who was also involved in this and complicit and a pedophile, she was paying for the weekly there. She knew that I was being held hostage. She knew that I was being abused, and she was complicit in me staying there. At that time, when I went to the office, my mom was called. She didn't answer. Later, when she called back, the lady in the office told her that my life was in danger. And my mom then was prompted to call 911. I feel like to cover her back and make herself seem like she was a caring mother.
So your mother wasn't on your side?
No. In this 911 audio, she can be heard saying that I'm being held hostage. that my daughter's father is on drugs, that my life was at risk. This audio was not played in court, which I am disappointed in that. However, it exists.
You said, yeah, hold on,
I
you
did
said
ask.
not playing in court. What does that mean? The prosecutor didn't play it?
No. When I went to trial, there were a few things that I thought were key.
And trial was to convict your...
Trial for custody.
Okay.
So I had a lengthy custody trial.
What happened with the 911? When did the cops show up?
The cops showed up.
Okay.
However, in hindsight, not in hindsight, when you're an abused person, when you're an abused woman, you don't do things that you're supposed to do. Now that I'm stronger, now that I understand what I should have done, it's easy for me to say I should have done different. But in the moment, it's hard and people don't do what they should do. It was very easy for the cops to be brushed off and they left. Nothing was done. However...
Well, hold on. No, you were held hostage in the hotel room.
Absolutely.
Did they take you from that area?
No. When the police came, I did not say I was being held hostage.
Why not?
I was scared. Maybe not even scared. My mind was not my own. My mind was not my own. I guess that's the best way to put it.
Okay. And they didn't bring it up because your mother said that you were held hostage.
When they came to the room, I said that we were arguing loudly and that everything was okay. And Brooks talked to them, I talked to them, and
Why'd
they
you do
left.
that?
I don't know why. I was scared. I was worried. I didn't want anything to happen to Madison. That was my mistake, and I regret that. Absolutely.
She was in the room with you, huh?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
And when you said earlier, was I restrained and et cetera, anytime I would speak about leaving, Brooks would take my daughter and he would take her out of the room and leave with her. And he would be gone for hours with her.
So you weren't locked in the room?
I wasn't per se, because he never left me alone. And then when I did speak about leaving, he would take her and leave to let me know that if I left, I wasn't going to have her. But during this period, at that time, I didn't understand why he was saying it. He was trying to tell me that my mom was a pedophile. That was the whole point of him holding me hostage in this room.
To tell you that?
Yes, because he wanted me to send my daughter to Michigan to live with his mother. Mm-hmm. And I also have 911 audio obtained from the Las Vegas Metro Police Department of his mother calling 911, talking about Brooks fearful that someone was trying to get photos of Madison. And that also just...
And Madison's your daughter?
Yes.
Did you ever see proof of photos or any physical evidence?
Of my mother?
Or was your mother taking photos or any like physical proof that
No, I did not. My mom does have a photo studio in her house. When I was younger, my mother used to force me to take naked photos of her, me, my sister, and my brother. My sister has 5 kids. During this hostage period, Brooks Johnson was telling me that my mother was a pedophile and that she had been doing this with my sister's kids for a number of years. I didn't think that much of it at the time. I thought he was on drugs. I thought it was crazy and I wanted to leave. And it didn't start making sense until down the road later when the pieces started to come together.
Do you know what the standard of evidence is?
No.
So there's 2 standards of evidence that when they provide in a case, and it's the first one is a preponderance of the evidence. So it's a lower standard that says, okay, hey, this looks like it could be happening. There's beyond a reasonable doubt when you have physical hard proof of something occurring. Now, in a custody determination, for example, for some kind of abuse, you have to have beyond a reasonable doubt. Like you show those physical evidence. And I know it's hard to even think about like, oh, I have proof that this happened and this is the physical evidence, because anybody could say something and it would stick on the wall. And
Absolutely.
I'm not saying what happened, you claim happened, didn't happen.
Absolutely.
It's just, how do you prove it? And that's a very, very touchy subject to be able to.
Absolutely. And I'm not trying to prove anything that happened in Siegel Suites. I'm not trying to prove that. What I'm trying to prove is the fact that my daughter was taken to UMC with fissures on her anus, and she was fissures on her anus.
What is that?
They're tears on her anus. She was diagnosed with sexual assault, and everyone turned the other cheek and looked the other way, including the judge, including Metro. And in court, they tried to argue that it was constipation. Chelsea Schuster, the head of CPS, wrote a letter to the judge in my case, Shell Mercer, and told her incorrect information, saying that Madison was in my care for a full week prior to the UMC visit, which is incorrect. And based upon that, they took Madison from my custody, and I have not had her since, and it's been over a year.
So did they say that it was inconclusive, or did they say that this was occurring? Or
her discharge documents from UMC, the diagnosis of the visit is sexual assault of a minor.
Was her hymen still intact? Did they show that
I'm not sure if they checked the hymen, which
that's usually, I know it's hard to talk about, but that's usually
the fissures were observed. There were photos of it. There was chafing on her buttocks area. There were also bruises on her thighs from where they held her. To me, it's unarguable. That is concrete evidence, and the fact that she is still in his care, and the fact that I have not had custody of my daughter is sickening.
So when they put it in the paperwork that this is occurring as sexual assault, what happened? What was the chain of custody? What happened after that? Did Metro get involved? Did the CPS come and take the?
So basically, I've been told I'm crazy. I have been told I'm crazy. I have been told I'm a drug addict, and I have been told to be quiet.
But what happened after that occurred? Did Metro take place? Did CPS step in and take?
Yes. So I did speak with Metro. This was the second time that I took Madison to UMC. The first time when she told me about her sexual assault, it had been a number of days.
What age was she?
4 years old.
4 years old.
She's 6 years old now.
Yeah.
Basically, it seems to me that once one person says no, everyone's like, why didn't they do something? Why didn't they do something? And everyone just starts turning the other cheek.
Usually CPS will do something. They'll step in, or they'll take the child out of the situation, put it in foster.
Exactly. Gwen White, CPS investigator, she refused to meet with me. She was the first initial contact through CPS that I should have had.
What do you think that? I mean, they're supposed to meet with all the parents and interview. Why would she refuse to meet with you?
Absolutely. I have no idea. Absolutely. She met with Madison's dad. I spoke with her on the phone, and she refused to meet with me.
Okay. Did they know each other, or your mom knew
I have no idea. I have no idea.
So you're claiming civil violations in Clark County Family Court House. Yes. So what transpired to make it civil violations?
So firstly, I have been extremely abused by Madison's father.
Is there any record?
Yes, there's record.
There's police reports.
There's police reports. He also
did he go to court?
He was in jail for a short period of time. He also has domestic violence he was convicted against domestic violence from his ex-wife.
Did he have domestic violence on you or your child?
Yes.
Documented?
Well, the thing is that in Michigan, they don't press charges on someone's behalf. So in Michigan, he strangled me. He thought he killed me. He left me in the woods.
You're passed out. I
passed out. I came from being conscious.
That's a felony.
Exactly.
Yeah, in Nevada, it's a felony.
I came from being conscious. I went and I ran. I found the police. The police came. It took 2 search dogs and multiple hours to find Madison and her dad hiding in the woods. In the police report, they documented the strangulation marks. I also had cuts and marks on my ankles from moving them on the ground from being strangled. And I never pressed charges. Another mistake.
The DA didn't indict him for that?
Nope, because in Michigan, they don't have that law yet. And that's something that I'm hoping one day that maybe I can change as well.
Why didn't you press charges?
because, like I said, I felt like.
So you didn't press charges in that particular incident. You didn't press charges in the room.
Mm-hmm.
Why not?
The mind of an abused woman.
So you have Stockholm syndrome?
I don't know what I have, but whatever
You know
I
what
had,
that is, right?
I do. I don't have that anymore. And I will never have that again.
Okay. Please continue.
Well, where was I?
The woods.
The woods. I was talking about his history. So that happened. He's also a career criminal. He's been in prison for more than a third of his life. Violent crimes.
And this is the dad to your child.
Yes.
And the judge gave him 50-50 custody?
Yes. I have no criminal history.
Where'd you meet this guy? If you don't mind.
I met him. I met him playing poker at a poker table.
So what do you think the judge gave this guy 50-50 custody with such a lengthy police report and domestic violence?
I have been discriminated against in the worst ways, in every way. Firstly, the one thing I could think of is every time the judge saw me, she would talk about my hair and she would tell me that I was on drugs because I dyed my hair. And I feel like it's the way I look. I feel like it's the way.
That?
Absolutely.
You're on drugs because you
Yes.
dyed
Why are you
your
dyeing your hair? You're dyeing your hair too much. You're on meth. I have been told I am on meth. I am 39 years old. I do not look like a person that uses meth. I'm sorry. Period.
Yeah, you
It's
all your teeth.
No, you don't look like a meth addict.
to me, it's nonsensical. It's bonkers. It makes no sense.
What proof does she have to make such a lavish accusation like that?
The fact that her dad was pushing this agenda and pushing this agenda and pushing this agenda was something that was in the forefront of her mind. He has a drug history and he was never forced to take drug tests ever.
What about you?
I was. And so initially, and this is where it gets good. So initially, all my drug tests, I'm not a drug user, never had a positive drug test.
Mm-hmm.
Lorian Cole from the Willick Law Group pushed
Willick Law Group. In my opinion, they're a piece of shit.
She pushed for me to go to this place called Options. I felt like the patch was going to vilify me because, like I said, they were saying that my hair dye, they basically said I was a magician and that I was faking every drug test. I have to be, right? I look like a drug addict.
A drug test?
No matter what.
Do they take blood or urine from you?
They took urine and hair.
Okay. How do you fake that?
Exactly.
Urine.
So they pushed Options. I started taking the patch and I felt like finally I'm going to be vilified. This is going to free me. This is going to be something that is going to be perfect. The patch started coming up dirty. My pee started coming up dirty. Mm-hmm. So I had to start going to the original drug testing place that I was sent to from court. Whenever they would call me for a urine test, I would go to the other drug testing place.
So when you said the patch and your urine came up dirty, what did it indicate that you were taking?
Different things. Originally, I didn't know that it was coming up dirty. They didn't tell me until later. Different things. Like they asked me one time if I took like pills, and then they said probably every drug that you can think of.
Some vitamins and some food supplements can actually trigger this.
Well, it gets good. It gets better. So I start going to the drug testing place that I originally was court ordered to go to. When Options would call me, I would go there and I would take a drug test, and then I would go after and I would go to the other drug testing center and I would take the drug test there. The drug testing results were conflicting. They were opposite every single time. So if I'm faking the drug test, why am I not faking it at both places, right? If that's what they're saying.
So one place said you're dirty, another place said you're clean?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So in trial, the owner of Options was called to stand. Shell Mercer actually...
That's the judge.
Yes. Shell Mercer actually ended up not taking the Options drug testing results seriously.
Because it said you were clean.
Because the other test results from the other court-ordered center that was approved were showing that I was not dirty.
Okay.
On stand, the owner, when my attorney at the time, Richard Schoenfeld, was interviewing her, or what is it called? Cross-examining her.
Mm-hmm.
She made the mistake of saying that her check was wrong. It turns out that Lorian Cole paid her to come to trial, which is illegal.
Who's that?
The owner of Options, Lorian Cole,
Okay.
Brooks Johnson's attorney,
Mm-hmm.
paid the owner of Options to come testify.
And Brooke Johnson is your ex?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So firstly, my attorney was trying to understand why she was having so much communication with Lorian.
Mm-hmm.
Because he never communicated with her. She never communicated with me. All the communication was going through Lorian. It didn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
And she made the mistake of saying, well, I had to talk to her because the amount on my check was wrong. And we're like, wait a second. The amount on your check was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So in my opinion, she was paid off to fake my drug test results, period.
But did she take the stand on the penalty of perjury?
I have no idea. But
did she raise her right hand?
Yes, she did.
Okay.
However, it was brought to the attention and it was talked about for a long period of time that she should not have been paid. So that's another thing that's kind of weird.
I think there's like a $25 witness fee.
Exactly. That's it.
Yeah.
Yes.
How much was she paid? Do you know?
Hundreds, a few hundred maybe. I'm not sure exactly, but
And how do you know this?
Because she said it during trial.
That she was paid.
That she was paid, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And what did the judge say about that?
The judge frowned upon it, and it was talked about for a good 10 minutes.
Okay. So please continue.
Where was I?
The trial. With one said you're clean, and
yes.
the other one
So
said you're not
that
clean.
was basically the gist of it. My point is that the drug test results were basically false.
Okay.
How long did the trial last for?
Judge Shell Mercer said that it was the longest family court trial that she's ever had.
Was it one day or multiple days?
It was multiple days. It was 3 days, I think.
3 days, right?
Yeah.
And what was the outcome after that?
The outcome was delayed until about 8 months later, last November, when she finally made her ruling, which was 50-50 custody. After her ruling,
And did she say why she made that decision?
why she made, there was many reasons
And
why.
why did she make that decision? What negative did she have on dad, and what negative did she have on you?
Basically, no negative on dad.
None.
None.
Domestic
negative.
violence.
Nope, nothing was taken into consideration.
A
with
criminal
anything.
in and out of
No.
prison.
No.
That wasn't
You
even mentioned.
Yeah, you presented the background. And all
Yes.
that stuff,
Yes, that's what I'm saying. He has been able to do whatever he wants, and even now, to this day, he has shut off all in-person visitations with me and my daughter.
Who was dad's lawyer at the time?
Lorian Cole,
And who was your lawyer?
Richard Schoenfeld.
And did your attorney appeal this case?
No,
Did you ask for it to be appealed?
no, I'm dumb. I'm dumb to the court system, and that's the thing. He's a career criminal. Brooks Johnson, Madison's father. He knows the system. He knows how to work the judge. He knows what to say. He knows the right things to do. I don't. I'm dumb to everything.
It just doesn't make good sense to me why a judge would order 50, not even supervised visits. He didn't have supervised visits.
No.
And you presented all this evidence, like from while you were married, right? Or during the tenancy of your marriage. Like, our marriage?
We weren't married, no.
Okay, relationship. And you showed hard evidence, because there's a certain standard in the state of Nevada where you have to prove, abuse, and you have to prove domestic violence. You have to prove all these different
Absolutely.
factors, and that would not be in the best interest of the child. So obviously those ones were met. I don't know. I mean, you had enough evidence to prove that.
I mean, you've been through some. It sounds like you've been through a lot of craziness with the strangulation, and you're saying that mom's a pedophile
Yes.
and mom had you take naked pictures of her. Is that a
When
true
I was a
statement?
child, yes.
When you were
yeah.
a child, and
It's escalated. Her monster has
and-
escalated.
and dad would remove the child from the hotel because you were threatened to leave.
Mm-hmm.
So have you seen any type of counseling or therapy for
I
all the
have.
stuff that you've been going through?
I have, yes.
And what's going on with that?
I'm trying to work through it. It's not easy. The judge wants me to be on medication. I don't need to be on medication. There's nothing wrong with me. My daughter is being abused, period.
Well, the judge can't really say that because the judge is doesn't have a medical degree.
Absolutely.
So can't make that observation. I mean, can't make that statement, especially coming from the bench. So were you on medication? Or?
No.
Okay.
But on the note of therapy, the judge said that I am causing extreme damage to my child mentally. Okay.
How so?
From the trauma of going to UMC, they basically are making things up from the trauma of me taking her to a quote unquote sex therapist.
Well, you're trying to protect your child, right?
Well, CPS gave me a sheet of recommended therapist. I picked one off of it, Alyssa Myers, a clinical social worker. I took Madison to her. Madison talked about sexual assault with Alyssa. Alyssa wrote a letter to Shell Mercer, and the judge disregarded it. And in the letter that she wrote to the judge, she said Madison had spoken to her about being sexually abused. When I went to court afterwards, Lori and Cole criticized me and told me that I took my daughter to a sex therapist. And they said, how dare I take my daughter to a sex therapist? And they said that Alyssa Myers, the clinical social worker, pushed my agenda onto Madison and made her tell her that.
Well, what proof?
Exactly. Nothing makes sense. Nothing makes sense. Nothing. It's nonsensical.
Did the judge order you to get an eval or a mental eval or anything?
Yes.
And was he ordered to have one?
No.
Did you request that your daughter have her own attorney?
No, I wasn't aware that that was something that was available to me until right when trial was starting.
Jessica, you said your mom abused you as a child and now she's abusing your daughter. Did you have your father growing up too?
I did have my father growing up. My dad, David Church, he just passed away 3 years ago. Thank you. Actually, the day he died is when Madison's father came back into my life, which is a rather
How long
odd.
was he absent for?
Madison's father. So after I was able to escape Siegel Suites with Madison, I moved into my mom's house where she lives with Greg Bowen, who was the first person to sodomize my daughter while my mom took photos. I moved into their house and I didn't hear from Brooks Johnson for a full year. During this year, he was stalking me. He was taking photos of me. And I have proof. He sent me text messages.
Let me stop you right there. How do you know the stepdad or your mom's boyfriend was sodomizing your daughter?
I found out later.
You found the pictures?
Nope. This is all from what Madison told me. So Madison can name 4 people that have sexually molested her, sodomized her. Craig Wiseman, the owner of Spacecraft Components, Brooks Johnson, her father, my mother, Virginia Joyce Church, and Gregory Bowen. Those are the 4 people that she can name by names that have been sexually molesting her.
She named these people.
She names those people, and they're
First
also
and last name.
I'm saying their last name because
Okay.
I'm begging people. I am begging people. If you have been victimized, come forward, please. Come forward.
Wow.
That's a lot.
And none of these people have been arrested or in court?
No. During the UMC visit where Madison was diagnosed with sexual assault, I had bought a hidden recording device, a tiny one. I put it in my pocket. I had it going from the moment I picked her up from UMC. And Madison can be heard on this raw, uncut audio emotionally speaking about this stuff, about how Craig Wiseman had taken her into his office at Spacecraft Components in North Las Vegas. He was doing paperwork. He then sodomized her. She says he stuck his fingers in my bottom and took pictures with his phone, mommy. She also says on that recording device, on the recording audio, that my mom is the one that sodomizes her the most. She talks about each person that I named on that audio. Another thing that was sent to CPS, which was overlooked, which is infuriating.
Did you go to Metro's sex crime unit to open
Yes.
up an investigation?
So Detective Highsmith of Metro was the first detective that was assigned to my case. Detective Highsmith told me that after her first forensic interview, she said that sometimes kids Madison's age will take 5 or 6 or 7 times before they feel comfortable enough to disclose the sexual abuse with them. Madison, upon telling me about her sexual abuse, cried for 7 days straight every single day. And on the 7th day, she finally confessed to me that she had been molested and being touched by her father. When I first initiated the CPS case, I did not know she was being sodomized. I did not know there were multiple people involved.
How old was she at this time?
4 years old.
Did you record what she said or talk to or had a witness that and not some people they can coach a child to
Exactly.
say certain things, and you have to be careful on what you say and don't say.
Exactly.
And even to bring that up to a child is it's evidence, but how do you get to the bottom of what's going on?
Absolutely.
I would want to know what's going on.
Absolutely. I was very new to it. I didn't know what to do. I was hoping that CPS, that the police, that the people who are put in place to guide mothers like me who are trying to help their children that are being sexually abused were going to guide me in the right direction and help me help my daughter. However, no one did. I did take videos of Madison speaking about this. And that's what led up to me having to use that hidden recording device. The videos that I presented to CPS were frowned upon. They said that Madison was coached, which the stuff that she's saying is uncoachable. It's not coachable. That's what led up to me using the secret recording device. And I do want to go back to Chelsea Schuster, who is the head of CPS, who after I had that hidden recording device, I sent her the raw uncut footage. I cut everything down. I put the timestamps on it. There was one part in that footage where Madison can be heard saying, crying, "Mommy, there's not going to be red." She goes, "Mommy, there's no red, Mommy. There's no red. Daddy did it too hard and it hurt really bad. And I looked in the mirror and there's not going to be any red because the doctors were going to come examine her." And for the CPS, for the police, for Shell Mercer to allow this to go on, they are just as guilty as the pedophiles that are involved in this, period.
And you showed Metro this video.
Everything has been submitted. I have been crucified and I'm tired of standing here. I'm tired of waiting. I need to help my daughter. My daughter, Madison Johnson, needs everybody's help. If you have been victimized by Craig Wiseman, by Brooks Johnson, by Greg Bowen, by Virginia Church, by Cody Courtner. I haven't mentioned Cody yet. Cody Courtner is Brooks Johnson's girlfriend. She has a sister, and her child is the second victim that I know that is being sexually molested. Madison says that Cody's sister's daughter, which I'm sorry, that's how I'm going to pronounce, that's how I'm going to present this. She's also being sexually molested. Cody Courtner is also a victim of sexual abuse. Her dad is a pedophile and he has molested her throughout her lifetime. So just like I said earlier about being abused and being numb to it, she is also a victim. Madison looks up to her. Madison feels like she's her protector. She says that Cody tells her dad to stop, and Cody's complicit too. I need victims to come forward. I know there's more victims. Please, I beg you. The world is depending on you. Come forward, please. Please.
Where's your daughter now?
She's with them. She's with the pedophiles right now.
And they're too. I mean, these victims would probably be too young to come out by themselves.
The other victim, I only know of one other victim, but in my heart and my soul, I know there are other victims out there. I know it. I need you guys to come forward for Madison. Hashtag Maddie May Matters. I need everyone to come forward, please. I'm sorry.
You're fine.
I'm so passionate about this. I need to help my daughter, and no one's helping her. And I'm tired of waiting. I'm tired of waiting. I'm tired of being told to be quiet. I'm tired of being silenced. Maddie matters. Period.
How long this has been going on?
This has been going on for 2 years. She's been sexually abused for 2 years. I saw her 2 days ago, and she is not herself. She's a shell of a person. Her eyes are dark. They're sunken in. She's sick. She needs help. And no one is helping her.
Have you contacted the sheriff's office and scheduled an appointment to talk to Kevin McMahill? Maybe he could help?
No, I have not, but I will after this.
Have you contacted the district attorney's office? Because Steve Wolfson has an open door policy, at least that's what he says.
I have had people around me that should be there to guide me that have not guided me. And I'm not making excuses. I know that I can do more. I've reached out to every single sexual abuse hotline. I have been through North Las Vegas Police, Metro Police. I have been begging for help, begging, and I haven't found it. And the people that are around me that have information like that have not given it to me. And I'm not making excuses, but thank you. I'm grateful for you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you for having me here. And I'm appreciative of all the information that you give me. I need it.
You could also file a complaint with the Attorney General's office as well. So
I have been so scared. I have been such a little bitch, excuse my French. I have been such a little bitch about this because I am so scared that everything I do is going to harm my daughter. I have been so scared that anything I say, anything I do is going to keep me from getting her. And the truth is that they've been dangling that carrot and I am not getting her. So I don't want to be scared anymore.
So you have no visitation currently, or except for the video.
I have no visitation.
Even though there's a court order saying that you're supposed to have.
Yes, I have gone down to the school multiple times with the police. After my second time of going down there with the police, her dad took her out of school. Then he halted all in-person visitation.
The judge did, or your ex?
My ex did.
how did he do that?
Exactly. Why does he get to rule the world? That's what I don't understand.
He's overruling the judge. He's flipping the judge off, basically.
And she doesn't care. She's taken it. Why?
So he's denying the visitations.
Yes.
And you haven't filed anything.
I filed.
I think you should file another motion for contempt of court, and then when you get a court hearing, why don't you invite veterans in politics to show up?
Absolutely.
Have you consulted with an attorney and asked them for what legal advice that you can do or pursue, or go to the Legal Aid Center? They're actually funded by the VAWA Act, which is the Violence Against Women's Act.
Like I said, I had the best attorney in the nation, and I'm here right now still without my daughter.
Were you appointed through the Nevada Legal Aid or no?
No.
Have you gone down? I would definitely.
I've been without an attorney. I asked my attorney to resign about a month ago because this is where it's gotten me. He's a great attorney. He's a great person. But my case is not over. He has not won anything. I was told by his assistant, Richard won this case for you. This case is not won. Nothing is won. I don't have my child.
There's really no winners in family court. The real losers are the child, especially the victim.
This is a long stretch, but you could also probably file a complaint with the ACLU.
What is that?
The American Civil Liberties Union. They might be able to help you.
Yeah, they usually
we'll talk after this and have to write everything down.
Yeah, they usually only
you're going to have the video.
Oh.
They usually take cases only if it's a multitude of people that are suffering, which they probably are. I would definitely reach out to the Legal Aid Center and go get some legal advice, some sound legal advice, and see what they have
Yes.
down there, and see what direction they would take. Because it sounds.
So moving forward, Ms. Church, what are you planning on doing?
I don't know. This was kind of something that I have been wanting to do. I need to get attention to this because I feel like Madison is getting worse every time I see her. And I'm worried about her. I am so worried about my child, and it makes me so upset that no one else is worried about her the way I am. I'm tired of being silent. On the 24th, the judge is going to have a hearing in her chambers of this month.
Why she's having a hearing in her chambers?
Because I filed for her dad to be held in contempt.
She should put it on the record. It's not on the record in her chambers.
Oh, really?
It's on the record in the courtroom where there's video cameras. She should put it on the record. Why is she holding it in her chambers?
I don't know. I also filed.
The secrecy?
Exactly. It doesn't make sense. Nothing makes sense. I also filed for a pickup order, and that was disregarded. Nothing, no response to that.
I'm surprised why Dad doesn't have supervised visits. Did you ask for that?
Yes, of course. I asked for that in the beginning. I asked for that.
Maybe you should file a motion to also ask for that this July 24th.
Yes.
That it be in the courtroom and not in her chambers.
Okay. Thank you for that advice. I appreciate it.
You could ask for that as well.
There is one more thing that I want to mention. Speaking about the supervised visits, going back to the January timeframe of last year, around the time when Madison was diagnosed with sexual assault, when the judge had the document from Melissa Myers, the clinical social worker that CPS recommended that I go to, stating that Madison confessed sexual abuse to her. The judge had also gotten back some information from a court-appointed observer. So after Madison went to UMC, 50-50 was stopped right after that. The judge wanted to see her dad and Madison's interaction. The person observing them wrote something to the judge, Shell Mercer, and said that from her professional opinion, Madison was being abused. That Madison would go limp when her dad hugged her, that there was no eye contact, etc. And that was disregarded as well. And that was someone that the judge appointed to observe their interaction. And she literally came back and said that she believed Madison was being abused. And so the UMC discharge documents stating that Madison had been sexually assaulted, stating the fissures on her anus, the letter from Melissa Myers, the clinical social worker, stating that Madison had confessed sexual abuse to her, and the document letter from the observer that observed the interaction between Madison and her dad were all disregarded in the same hearing. Yeah. It's heartbreaking.
You can't even protect your own daughter. You have no clue what's going on. I mean,
I can't even get a welfare check on her. I don't even know where my child lives. After
isn't that supposed to be in a court order? They're supposed to know where your child is.
Nothing makes sense. That's the problem. Nothing makes sense. I tried to get a welfare check and I can't. I don't know her address. I called Donna's house to try to have them help me facilitate the supervised visit. And Yvette, the director there, told me she could not. I'm hurting. My daughter is hurting way more than me. What I'm going through is nothing compared to what my daughter's going through. She needs help.
So what would you like to see happen? Like, What is it that you'd like?
I want every single person that has been involved in this to be held accountable. And until people are held accountable, their actions will not change. This is going to keep happening. I'm not going to be the last person that this happens to, because until they are stopped, they will never stop. And it's not me. It's not my daughter. It's every person that comes after us.
So how do you want them to be held accountable?
I'm hoping that if people grab wind of this, if people see what's happening, that they will have to fix their actions, that they will be held accountable in the ways that they deserve it. The pedophiles go to jail, the judge be reprimanded, whatever the course of action is for each person, that's what I want to happen. Whatever they're deserving of in their own specific deserving case. Sexual
abuse is a very serious allegation.
Yes.
And you really have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that this is going on. I mean, even the claim of that is people get killed for touching kids.
Absolutely.
But what I'm saying is that what standard? How do you know? How do you help those victims that are too young to speak for themselves? Then they come out later on. And then we have the Me Too movement thing that's been going on, and it's, you don't know what's real, what's not real, and what's a false allegation and what's a real allegation.
Absolutely.
So it's a very touchy subject.
Absolutely.
So how, in your opinion, what would you do to change that system?
Speaking, communication.
Well,
Communication
even if
is
a child,
key.
though,
My child's 6 years old. She is so smart.
Yeah,
she is able to speak. She spoke with Alyssa. She will speak to someone else. Why is my daughter not in therapy? Why has no one asked my daughter to go to therapy? Why isn't she being forced to go to therapy? Even if it's based upon me taking her to UMC and causing her the damage that they're saying that I'm causing. I feel like...
Have you ever brought her to a therapist yourself? Or no?
Yes, that's what I was saying. Alyssa Myers, the clinical social worker, yes. And after that, they forced me to stop taking her. They're trying to silence my daughter just like they have silenced me, period.
So, you know judges take an oath to serve and protect the Constitution.
Yep.
And the sexual assault is a crime.
Yep.
So if you feel that the judge ignored this crime, have you filed a complaint with the Nevada Judicial Discipline Commission?
No, I haven't done anything.
Maybe that's another avenue you could pursue.
I haven't done anything legally. Let me say that. I haven't done anything legally. I felt like I was in the best hands legally, and I haven't done anything else because I felt like that's all I can do. But on top of the fact that I have been literally, I feel like scared. I have been...
You're distraught.
Not even that. They are strong-arming me into being silent. They are trying to force me into closing my mouth. I'm tired of being silent.
Finding sound legal advice sounds like your next step.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
Ms. Church, did you? I'm sorry you had to go through all of this, and that you have to use the media just to get the attention of agencies that's supposed to protect us, we the people. Is there anything else that we left out that you want to get on the record that you haven't said?
I just want to say one more time. Please, I'm begging you, I'm pleading with you. If you have been a victim of Craig Wiseman, the owner of Spacecraft Components, Brooks Johnson, Cody Kortner, Virginia Church, or Gregory Bowen, please come forward. If you're scared, if you're nervous, it's okay. I understand. Come forward. The world needs you. I need you. Maddie May needs you.
I'm going to give you an opportunity to say that close up. Mike, do you have anything else from this church?
Thank you for telling us your story and your truth that's going on. But I know it's a very touchy subject, like when abuse, or especially sexual or physical. It's such a hard standard to prove that something happens or doesn't happen, and then a child is affected by this forever.
Absolutely.
So and to be a parent and not be able to protect your child, I completely understand. It's soul ripping. You don't know how to act or what to do, and you just feel that you're trying to protect your own child, and that's what we have, that mothering father, the parental instinct to protect our child. And I do believe that these cases are very touchy. They're really sensitive to the information about your child and about the people that have those allegations, because there's you don't know what's what, and your whole world is. I mean, if you don't have that hard physical proof, which is super hard to prove too. What do? You have to live in just fear of your daughter being.
Well, the hard physical proof was the fissures on her anus. The hard physical proof is her word. The hard physical proof is what she is saying is happening to her. And I want to say, I appreciate you saying that it's hard for me. It's not hard for me. Don't feel sorry for me. Feel sorry for my daughter. I am strong. There is nothing that is bothering me as much as what's bothering her. She needs people to help her. Don't feel sorry for me. My daughter needs you. She needs everybody.
Ms. Church, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. I'm so grateful.
You've been very brave to do this.
Thank you.
Mark is going to zoom in on you, and you get the final word. You can say whatever you want. If you have a point of contact, you could give that as well. And Mark's going to zoom in on
you. I just want to say, if there are any victims of sexual abuse, physical abuse, can I start that over? Is this live?
Yeah.
I just want to ask that any victims of Craig Wiseman, the owner of Spacecraft Components, Brooks Johnson, Cody Courtner, Virginia Church, Greg Bowen, please come forward. Madison needs you. We need you. Be brave. Be strong. I believe in you. Please come forward. Hashtag Maddie May Matters, at Maddie May Matters. Reach out, please. I love you.
Do you want to give a point of contact or email address or anything like that?
At Maddie May Matters.
Thank you so much for coming on the program, Jessica. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mike.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm grateful. Thank you.
Folks, that's Jessica Church, who was talking passionately about what's going on with her daughter and the civil rights violation, criminal violation that has been ignored in her family court case regarding her daughter, Maddie. If anybody has any information to help her out, please do so. You could also contact Veterans in Politics, and we'll pass information on to her as well. This is Steve Sampson and Michael McDonald with Veterans in Politics, and that was Jessica Church. Until next time.